welcome to Four Women in a Podcast. I'm the host, Lola Alzain.
I'm Noha Beydoun.
I'm Nawal Al Saeed.
And I'm Roba Al Khalil.
Roba and Noha are both doctors. Okay, so today we are going to discuss personal struggles that we have overcame because we want to make sure that other people can relate to us, right? And we want to help those people. So, Roba, I'm going to start with you. Tell us about a personal struggle you have gone through. Okay.
Yeah, just any personal struggle.
Yeah, well, I'm going to work too, and I'm going to work too on being a little bit softer and graceful because after the first episode, I didn't really like how animated I was, even though it really is who I am. So bear with me as I work on my...
We're going to transition into like
a more graceful,
segment.
right, a more graceful Lola. So anyways, Dr. Roba, tell us about a personal struggle that you overcame. Well, first tell us the struggle, and then we'll talk about how you overcame it.
Okay, I think the first that probably comes to mind out of many would probably be starting medical school. I had to relocate. I had to cut the cord from my parents and move to another country, not just another state. And I was by myself at a very ripe age of 24.
I'm sorry, we didn't hear you. What was the age? I've been hearing.
I was 24 when I went to medical school.
Oh, okay, wow.
I took a couple years off.
Yeah, that's right. She's a doctor.
Undergrad.
She's a doctor.
And honestly, I will tell you this. I cried the entire time on the plane ride. And I was so scared to go. Truly, truly scared to go. The day before, I was debating whether or not to go. But I had already pulled my loans. And there was this, financial burden already on me prior to even stepping foot in the Caribbean. But I met someone on the plane who later became a friend of mine. We met in North Carolina because there's a hub after you fly from DTW. The hub is Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, North Carolina, you fly to the Caribbean. I met this person and they just were so nice and so supportive from like day one, carried my bags up to my dorm. And like just made that first day so much easier. I continued to cry for probably the next week until like I just got kind of adjusted to the situation. But I think it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done because I had to do it by myself.
So I'm sure, especially from our community, there's so many young women out there that are moving on to grad school and going to medical school, dental school. So how did you overcome that struggle of like detaching from family? Because family is huge for all of us, I believe. And like we are a very close-knit like community to where family is everything to us, especially during those nights in Ramadan, for example, those Ramadan nights.
I did 2 Ramadans there by myself.
Yeah.
I was there for about 19 months. And luckily there were other Muslims with me and like we would eat together, but it was so hard. And back then when I was going to school, we didn't have smartphones. Like, I don't want to date myself, but we didn't have They came out like right before I left the island.
But you had BBM.
Yeah, we had. No, you couldn't take it. You couldn't take that. It was
really?
a Nokia phone that you would
flip?
purchase. You would purchase like a card for.
Like flip?
No, it was a little Nokia. You know the one with
the
the
snake game.
Snake.
Okay, yeah.
And you would get text messages, but I couldn't text back like right away. I could only get text messages from the island, and I'd have to go home and send through a website like text messages back if someone sent me a text
I remember
message.
those days.
But I would communicate through Skype with my family. So it was like really, really, really hard initially.
Skype aged you.
Yeah, I know, big time. It really did. But it is what it is. But like honestly, I think the support that I had while I was down there made the biggest difference. And just from that support came so much confidence. And it instilled in me truly, like, if I could do this by myself here, there's nothing that I can't do.
For real.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. I love that.
So
you overcame it by building your own network.
I did. I really did. And I'm still friends with a lot of people.
Which is crazy for you because you're actually very stuck up.
Oh
so
my God.
I'm shocked that you you were able to build your own network.
I did.
That's a joke, by the way.
On my coffee here.
That's a joke. If you don't know Dr. Rowe, you would think she's very stuck up. But I promise you that's not the case. She's a doctor. Nawal, tell us about a personal struggle that you've overcome.
Okay, so as Roba said, there are many. But I want to start by saying that I am who I am today because of what I went through.
I agree.
For sure.
So one really momentous struggle that I feel like is a catalyst into who I am today is motherhood. I became a mom at 25. And motherhood, unlike maybe, I mean, I'm making an assumption here, but I think the typical female in our community, thinks about motherhood from, a very young age, maybe. Marriage and motherhood from a very young age. And as that was something I actually never really thought about. I don't come from a family where the girls got married young. So motherhood was like a really big slap in the face for me. Having to, be having to be selfless.
But an all-American Muslim, you said that you're lucky because because Nader would be like helping you with everything.
Well,
He
yeah,
still
because
does.
he
does. He does.
Well, you're raised in a community in our society where you're conditioned to believe that motherhood is a singular movement.
It's
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
I feel like I know where the story is going, and I'm here for it.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, So yeah, just becoming a mom was hard. I learned a lot of lessons. Them being that, I have to not think about myself. There's another life that I have to, be in charge of, responsible for. And yeah, just I guess that was like the doorway to adulthood for me,
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, like
Made you grow up.
Made me grow up, thinking about, how do you time manage life? How do you
Hold on to your marriage.
how do you hold on? Yeah, like having the multiple hats that I have now started with motherhood.
Absolutely.
So that was the major role. Like I am a leader now because of becoming a mom, because I had to put on that leadership role. I had to, learn new things and
On the fly.
And
And
there's no book on.
And
I mean, there is.
There are.
There are books on motherhood, but I feel like
there's nothing like the real life
There's
experience.
nothing like the real life
But
experience.
I'll tell you, that's interesting. That's a very interesting perspective. Honestly, I know you guys probably
Yeah.
think I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. Looking at motherhood as a way of shaping you as a leader is such
Yeah.
an incredible
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
I've never viewed it from that perspective ever.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing, especially when you first become a mom, holding on to your marriage. You tend to start putting your husband in second place.
Yeah.
Like, now I have a baby I have to care for. I'm sorry. Like, I can't do for you what I was doing for you before the
Yeah.
baby came into this
you have
world. And
less
so,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, and not only our husbands, but before we were mothers, we were sisters. We were sisters. We were friends,
Daughters.
So like, I still wanted to make sure that I was still the oldest daughter in my family. I was that. I'm the oldest in my family. I wanted to make sure that I was still the older sister to my brother and to my sister, to my little sister. I was the best friend to you and you. You know
what? You said something that I think was really interesting. Was that you used to think of it as like, we tend to think of it as like the singular endeavor.
Yeah.
And it's really, I think the same way. It's not.
It's
it should
not.
be more of a communal.
And no,
It
there
takes
is
a village. Go ahead.
It takes a village.
It takes a
Who
village.
gave me breast milk?
Yeah.
Who gave me breast milk that got me through my postpartum?
Yeah.
So Nasim is halal on you.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
I mean,
Noha did.
yeah.
And this,
But,
and
it
this,
was, well, I say that not to say that like, he's my milk son,
Yeah.
which is, he is.
He
I have
is.
a special bond with that kid, whatever. But
He's a good kid, though.
We say he's the best boy. But the point is that you have kids together with people
yeah.
and you talk about your motherhood and
Yeah.
then, your family is all around you.
Wait, why
and
did you
find
give
that?
why did you give breast milk to
So,
Nasim?
so I was having,
I'm going to interrupt you because I remember coming over one time to visit you and
Yeah.
you were sobbing on the couch breastfeeding Nasim and saying, nobody said it was this hard. Why did they lie to you?
Yeah.
Nobody said it was going to be this
Yeah.
hard. It's really hard. It's really hard to breastfeed.
yeah, I mean, my milk production was low and I really wanted to breastfeed. I mean, I know that formula is a wonderful option and everything, but I truly wanted to give my
So
son.
Iman was a little bit older.
I
and
remember how much
already-
breast milk you would make. Smallah.
I mean, it's not.
I mean,
was
no,
just
it was
an
just
aggressive-
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was just an aggressive pumper.
and Iman had started solids by
Yeah.
then, so
Yeah,
So you'd
large,
pump.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
so Noha was able, you know, Noha
and the
to
way that my
supplement.
own sister Amal supplemented for
and
me.
and not only supplement but offer me fresh milk, the
Yeah,
fresh
yeah,
production that
yeah,
morning,
yeah, yeah.
not frozen, because my baby was still a newborn,
Yeah, it was
and
still a
frozen
newborn. Yeah.
milk.
And that was a gift from my sister to me.
Yeah, so she
When I
gifted
first had it,
me
Iman.
that.
That's so nice.
And
I
so it
remember
really
that.
is a communal
Yeah.
thing when you find this network of support. Again, support.
Yeah,
It is.
Again,
She's
there's
right.
a running theme of support.
Uh-huh,
You know,
that's
a
definitely-
safety net of
yeah.
support.
Yeah.
To actually be okay and vulnerable enough to say, hey, I need help.
yeah.
That's
carry
okay.
my bags.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And and this brings me to like the perspective that I wanted to bring here today, that it's vital to acknowledge that true personal growth is intertwined with community.
Yeah, with community.
You know, it's
Good people around
with
you.
good people around you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's cultivating meaningful relationships amongst women with us, a sisterhood. A sisterhood is so important for personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we're seeing here through our stories, you know, is that a support of women, a web, a community is vital to true personal
Yeah.
growth, I believe.
I agree.
I agree. I love that. I think it's important for everybody to have this type of sisterhood. And I think it's not easy to find. It's not easy to come by.
You got to form your Haji crew.
Yeah,
gotta
Even though
form-
only
yeah.
50%
we're known as the
of us,
Hajj crew in our group chat.
yeah, even though
But-
only 50%
Yeah.
of us
Our
went to the
Scarface.
Hajj,
Yeah.
but you know,
Hold
But
on,
it- but-
hold
and-
on. And it's hard too when you have to be around people that think they're better than everybody. So, Dr. O.
Not me.
No, I mean really, but I do have a question for you on that note. Why is it that you think you're better than everybody?
I'd like to not endorse this statement. I do not endorse this statement. This is a running joke that Lola has with me, and that I think I'm better than everyone. I truly,
I'm gonna tell you why. Because
I truly don't.
okay, I'm gonna say why. Oh, I have to be graceful. I forgot. Graceful and soft. So
I don't know.
So,
I really need
hold
another
on,
cup of
hold-
coffee.
hold
I
on.
already drank.
hold
this
on.
one.
I'm gonna be graceful. So I say that because I'm the naive type that loves everybody, and I think everybody
Yes,
loves me. and
yes.
I'm so nice.
Defender of the universe.
And when-
Yes, you are.
I am the defender of the universe. And then here I am on a Sunday morning having brunch with Roba, and somebody walks in, and I'm like, oh, hi, this is my friend Roba. And Roba's like, hi. And I'm like, Roba.
not
Hey
like
guys,
that.
you
Roba.
guys remember that book that we? Oh wait, you're not part of the book club.
That was very rude.
Exclusivity.
That was very rude.
Exclusivity, not
And you know what?
exclusivity.
That's okay.
deflect and get
Hold
it
on.
off of
I
you.
just first of all, I read way better books than you guys do. And Roba will post. Roba now blocks most of what she's reading on her social media because I was able to figure out every book she reads.
You know what she does? She'll Google an excerpt from the book, and then she'll send me a text message. Oh, I love the book. It's written by blah blah blah. I'm like, you don't
Because,
even know this
but
book.
the thing is, Roba, you're so easy to annoy, and I genuinely believe in my heart, like Allah put me on earth to annoy Roba. Wallahi,
Listen, it's a great dynamic, and I love it.
I do. So Naha, share with us a personal struggle you have overcome.
Okay, so I think that one personal among, like you said, many. There's a lot of things.
It's a running list.
But number one, I'm gonna share a personal struggle, but then I'm also gonna say that there's always a common theme on how to overcome it. Okay, so here I am organizing my talk to be more organized.
I can see the bubbles above your
We
head.
can see you thinking.
Okay, so it was writing my dissertation. That was very hard for me.
I remember that I actually attended. Roba, you were. Oh, you
I was
weren't
at
there.
work. I was at work. Thank you.
You weren't. You didn't even know
I was
about
at
it.
work. Yes, I did. I posted it.
Uh-huh. Oh, that was cute. After I
Anyways,
posted it.
So I graduated, I didn't. I achieved candidacy, your ABD, and then you have to do what is called, the dissertation, which is like,
Writing a book.
it's like basically, like a thesis. The final product was like 250 pages, and I'm really proud of what came of it, but
As you should be.
yeah, and I like the work, I talk about it a lot, the politics of hijab in American culture. But that process of writing that work took, I always say, parts of my soul died that I will never get back. And I don't want them back. It's okay. But the process of writing it, because you don't really have like, I had a great director, but you don't have like this guidance. And I wrote it during a very trying time in my life. And I also wrote it because I wrote it like quickly, but not quickly, because it still took me like 2 years to write it. But I wrote it with a sense of urgency because I wanted to get into the next phase of my career and my life. And I wrote like my life depended on it, because in a sense it did, you know, my livelihood, my ability to get a job, to get a job that I wanted, you know, that it was there. And, you know, I overcame it. And, you know, I had a community of support. I had wonderful women in my life. I had the Haji crew around me. I had my sisters. I had my siblings. I had my mom and dad. I had enriching conversations with so many people through the process that helped me put this in perspective, like this work. Because on the one hand, you're talking about something really important, which is hijab, but you're using it as an vantage point. And on the other hand, you know, you're also trying to like get on with your life to
Go to the next step.
Yeah, go to the next step in your life. So that was hard, and I struggled throughout. Like, you don't just write and there's revisions and there's committees and, you know, there's defense and, you know, I had obstacles along the way. You have to revise. This isn't acceptable. This is like borderline racist in the comments, you know. So you gotta get through it. My point is that in this struggle and in every other struggle and in every struggle that you guys have shared, there's always a common theme, which is to surround yourself with people that can support you. But you guys, that's not enough. I'm telling you, it's not enough. Because if you were a nasty person, or if you were a mean person, not receptive to the help, or not receptive to love, or you weren't operating from a place of love, no matter who's there to support you, you're not going to find anyone around you.
Yeah.
You in order to build a network of support, you have to attune yourself. If you want to see a change in your outside circumstances, support is really, really important, but you have to be like
Willing to do the work yourself.
Yes.
Exactly. You have to be willing to put in the work yourself. First of all, you have to perceive it's possible for yourself to overcome this challenge. So you have to perceive that it's possible enough for you to step into this role of motherhood in a selfless way. You have to perceive that you can do it. You're not going to come
see myself as a
as a
professional
doctor.
at the end of the day.
I kept literally visualizing my defense. I didn't even know what it was going to look like. I kept visualizing that defense in the people around me. But you won't find people around you if you are not operating from a place of compassion, love, humility, all of these things. Yeah, do nasty people make it sometimes to the top?
100%.
Cutthroat tactics?
Yeah,
but for the most part, it's not fulfilling and it's not sustainable.
And it's short-lived.
It's
Yeah, it's
short-lived.
short-lived,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's very short-sighted. So I think that regardless of the struggle, and Lola, I want to ask you about your struggle and how you overcame it so we can bring it back home before I say. Go ahead.
Okay. My personal struggle is very hard to talk about, but I'm okay with talking about it. And I think that a lot of women, especially in our community, can relate because my biggest personal struggle in my life was my divorce. Divorce essentially feels like death. And I'm talking about, I was 34. I had met him when I was 17. I spent half of my life with him at the time. Actually, I was a little bit younger than 34, I think 32. But anyways, the point is I spent half of my life with him, and he was a big part of my life. We have like a great relationship. We co-parent well. But going through a divorce, especially in this community, is very, very, very hard. I mean, the first thing people do is they check your social media to see if you've deleted photos.
Take off all his pictures?
Did you take down all the photos? And it's the thing is when somebody's going through that, it's very private. It's very intimate. You feel like you're grieving.
You are. It's
And
definitely a loss.
it is. It's a loss. And you never know if you're making the right decision. It's hard. It's really hard. And I was able to overcome it, of course, by supporting myself, or by being supported by amazing people and surrounding myself with great people. Sure, that was huge. But at the end of the day,
You did it.
I
Yes.
had to focus
what I'm trying to-
on me.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and
It
I knew
comes-
that's what you're getting to.
That's exactly what I'm trying to
Yes,
say. It
and
comes from within.
I had to focus on me. I shifted my mindset. It was extremely difficult. Celine was just a few
Yes.
months old. Not even. She was actually a few weeks old. And I blacked out. Like, there was a moment in my life where, I cried every day. I would go to the office, lock myself in my office, and just cry. And my sister would walk in and say, Lola, like, I need you to work. I'm sorry. I know you're going through this, but it's not the end of the world. And she was right. It's not. But the reason why I feel like it's important for me to address this is because there are women right now that are going through this. And I want all women to know that they're not alone. This is very common. There is this stigma where if you get divorced, that's it. Your life is over. I promise you that if you focus on yourself, you will thrive in whatever it is you put your mind to. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so listen, I want to say something. It's that, but women struggle with a lot of things.
Definitely.
It's that, it's death, it's
Definitely.
life,
Career changes, role changes.
For sure.
This advice that you're giving right now, the shift in perspective that you talk about,
Yeah, it's universal.
is
to
a
all
universal
To all
application,
issues.
a transition, and something big, a move away. The answer necessarily has to come from a shift within your perspective. So instead of feeling like, I can't do this, I'm going to die, I'm a victim, you shifted your perspective.
I absolutely will
You
not
took
victimize myself.
Exactly.
No, absolutely
It's
not.
to just own where you are at that point in your life.
Yeah.
And trusting yourself, first of all, like I'm gonna say like a tawakkul, you know what I mean? A trust in the fact that you're right where you're meant to be, and
Absolutely.
that you gotta let the path unfold. That's a little.
But I think that's hindsight. I don't think in the moment. 'cause I'm
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You black out.
speaking
In the
from
moment, you
blackout.
black out.
Yes.
You can't see it.
That's
I
what
can,
I mean.
I
It's
can
very
relate
hard.
to your experience.
Yeah.
And I don't. In the moment, you're thinking
You're
that's
dead.
it. My
Yeah.
life
You're
is
dead.
over.
You go through-
There's nothing.
You're
that
curled
can come
up
from
in the
this.
feet.
You go through a phase too, and I hate to use the word hatred, but I feel like
Resentful, maybe. No.
resentful. It's just really black. It's a dark. It's
a darkness.
It's a dark time in your life. It's really black, but it's okay. You're going to be more than fine. And subhanallah, how when everything's all said and done and settled, it
won't start to become fine regardless of your hardship until you start to tell yourself it's going to be fine.
Absolutely.
And you have to
Yes.
tell yourself a new story.
Yes.
Quite literally.
Right.
You have to tell yourself a new story.
this is not my
it's
story.
right.
Yes.
It's time to close that chapter and open
up
a
a
new
pen.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Write it
Yeah,
down.
you
Say
gotta
it
write
out
down,
loud.
And you literally have to work at it.
Yeah.
So it's not going to like.
So now that brings me to think about this, and I think this is something that we can let others think about and reflect on. How do you stay in that positive mindset? So I have women ask me all the time, when you were going through what you were going
She's way
through.
too bubbly sometimes. I'm like, bro.
I am, alhamdulillah, by God's grace, being soft and graceful, alhamdulillah. So people ask me all the time, how did you stay in a positive mindset? There was maybe a month or 2, maybe 3 months where I wasn't positive at all. But for me, it was going to the gym. I go to the gym really early. Like, you guys are still sleeping. It's pretty embarrassing when I go. But anyways,
Not true.
Who's sleeping?
I know.
Sleeping.
I wish I slept that well.
I work
But
out.
anyways-
I work out and play
But you did-
volleyball
but
during I'm
also, too,
fasting.
you had
Oh, we
two-
know all about your volleyball and how important
6
volleyball
games
is to you.
last night, all
Oh,
wins.
dear
Just
God.
to let you know.
Alhamdulillah,
6 games
alhamdulillah.
last night, all wins.
Alhamdulillah.
I really love, honor, and support your volleyball.
Thank you.
Really, I love
Means
honor.
a lot to me.
Get a room.
That was there's a
Before
reason
Lola
why we're
tries
doing
to
this.
instigate between us.
We're in a group chat trying to figure out
Stop.
what.
Just
No,
stop.
no, I think it's important. No, this is funny.
Just
So
stop.
in our
This is
Haji
actually
crew
really
group chat,
funny.
we were trying to figure out what date were going to set this podcast for, and
the biggest
they got into
instigator
a
on
fist
earth.
fight, okay,
No,
over a
into a
volleyball
text
game
fight.
because Nawal had a volleyball game scheduled. So Nahal's like, well, obviously, like that's not
Cancel.
important, so cancel
That's what I
volleyball.
said.
Or get a substitute.
She was very
What would they do without you? What would happen if you got sick? Don't you have to get a sub? I'm like,
Naha,
I asked.
Naha, you were very insensitive to her volleyball game.
You're such an
No,
instigator.
Very dismissive.
no.
Gaslighting.
Actually,
No,
she-
Naha was very supportive. Her
Naha-
daughters play
Naha-
volleyball, so she
Naha-
gets it.
I'm not even gonna address this. Well,
Master
I'm not gonna because Allah knows what's in my heart. So
I do.
Master
I love you.
manipulator.
Always so supportive. She took me to a
Hajj-
Michigan volleyball game. You took me to a Michigan
Hajj-
volleyball
Naha.
Okay, she
game.
redeemed herself. She redeemed herself, and she sent a very nice text message, indicative of her support, her undying support.
Absolutely, because you know what? You know what? First of all, it's a great thing.
You don't
to
have
I
to
think you were
explain
having a bad day
yourself.
that day.
You don't have to explain yourself.
No, but hold on. But when you have, but that's what friends are for. When you have a bad
That's
day,
what
it's okay to
friends
take it
are.
I
out on a
wasn't
friend.
having a bad day. I know how to
Oh,
contextualize and compartmentalize.
If you weren't having a bad day that day, girl, then I want to know what it looks like for you to have a bad day.
You know what? Khalas.
Khalas,
What are we gonna
khalas,
do?
khalas.
What are we
Hold
gonna
on, going back to you. I think what really, besides being distracted at work, I think you also had two little girls to keep
Absolutely,
focus on.
for sure.
Like that wasn't, you know what I mean?
But sometimes that's not easy either.
No,
Because
I
sometimes
don't
you-
know if that would
right.
be easy. No,
No,
Yeah.
but sometimes, Roba sometimes is a new mom. Well, I wasn't a new mom, but there was a big
You had
age
a
gap.
newborn.
Yeah, I had a newborn. And sometimes as a mom, when you're going through those things, you have mom guilt and you feel like, am I not giving my child enough attention?
Yeah.
Because I'm so focused on what's going on over here. So what do I do? How do I balance this? It's very hard.
I think mom guilt is like whatever you have going on in your life, we're pushing through it on a regular basis. That's like the
It's like part of
the
our daily
the
struggle.
struggle
It's
of
part of my
capitalism.
daily struggle.
It's on your
The
shoulder
struggle
all
of
day
living in
long.
a capitalist
Yeah.
society where we're expected to work in and out of the house and we're expected to wear all of these hats and to parent in these, you know, like
I mean, just-
non-communal
Just driving
ways
here,
and-
I was like, should I check in? What's going on?
Yeah.
Should I, you know,
Mom guilt.
like
But
mom
listen,
guilt is real. It's a
yeah.
daily struggle.
But I'm sure
For me it
listen,
is.
Yeah, but just to bring it back to that personal struggle, that was a very hard time in your life. I think that the greatest thing that the greatest take home for anybody, regardless of their struggle, is that the answer is inside of you. A shift in perspective. How do you overcome it? That's the first step, is to shift your perspective into something new, to tell a new story about yourself, to resolve that it is going to be okay, and to trust that wherever the path is going to take you, it'll be
That's my
okay.
path.
And
But it
that's-
takes
yeah.
work.
And
you know
that's-
how you say,
I was gonna say it has to be
takes
it has to be in
it's
tandem
intentional.
For
yeah,
sure,
and it
because-
has to be
Yeah.
to be we have to be doing that alongside other things.
Yes.
It's not just one thing.
And that's
No.
when I
Yeah.
started to really heavy market myself as a title lady. It was
Yes.
before that.
with action.
Yes. And that's when I started to focus on the title lady. I snapped out of my, I don't want to call it depression because it wasn't depression, but I snapped out of.
Maybe it was, and that's
Worse,
what-
Perhaps.
situationally
Yeah.
sad.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Situational
too.
depression,
Yeah.
Perhaps.
situational sadness. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
I was
okay.
very
Yeah.
sad.
Disorder with
I
depression.
feel
I was
so
very
sad
sad.
when you bully me. I feel sad.
Do you want me to
Noha.
get your shirt?
Haji Noha, I am not
she
a
hurts me in
bully.
my heart.
I am not a bully. I'll pull out the text messages from between you and the wall.
Anyways, we were saying
that's how I was able to keep a positive mindset.
it's got to be a mindset in tandem with action.
Yes.
You can't just have action
for sure.
because forced action is not good.
And that's part of the law of attraction.
Exactly. It's forced action on the one hand. You can say it's law of attraction. You can say it's Islam.
It's just Hajj.
It is. It's part and parcel to our.
Absolutely.
But God says it in the Quran. Whatever you're attuned to is
Absolutely.
what you're gonna find in life.
Absolutely.
But
I
my
agree.
point is that it takes work. Like you can't just decide. You know how you were saying that people would ask you, how do you stay so positive? And the answer is you don't stay so positive.
You
and
don't. You
that
have
you're
bad
up and
days.
down.
Absolutely.
You have bad
Sometimes
days.
you're
You
out
cry
of
in your
the
car.
hour.
You
Yeah.
cry in the grocery store.
Hey,
You capsize all of a sudden and your boat flips over
Yes.
and you just fall
my
apart.
my career
You're
is
looking
very.
for your life jacket.
Yes.
Yes.
And I can't swim.
we know
Thank God
that.
for swim lessons.
Right. And so anyways, my point is that You gotta swim though. You gotta swim.
You gotta swim.
Even when you capsize. So it takes active work. It takes interrupting your thought patterns. It takes, continuously, relentlessly training yourself with processes to stay in that mindset, to find joy, even in unrelated things, so that you can get back on track.
So you're continuously working on yourself. Then what do you
Yes.
do if you get off track?
Self-development.
You get
back.
you get off track,
Right.
and then you
you
come
go
back
back.
on track.
Right.
You have a good
But-
conversation with somebody
Yeah.
where you're not dwelling on the past, but you are just trying to move
Reflecting
forward,
on the past.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. I agree. And
through processes.
Yeah.
We can talk about the processes.
so the problem with that too, now I'm going to go back just for a moment
Yeah.
because you say you talk to somebody. There are some people that will just drain
Yes.
you
Sure.
and suck the energy out of you.
100%.
And
Drain your
and they
social battery.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, Wael, the team leader at Legacy one time said to me, he read this in a passage in a book, and he said there's two types of people. There's the battery drainer and the battery charger.
Yeah.
And you have to decide what type of person you want to be. But when you find yourself, especially in those like dark moments, when you find yourself around those battery drainers, you have to be self-aware enough to just make a decision to, hey, I can't. I have to protect my space and my energy, and I need to not be around that.
Yeah.
So I think that's also important. You have to be very
Healthy
careful with who you
boundaries.
talk to.
Yeah.
Healthy
For sure.
boundaries.
I did that in my life, like post divorce. I did that. I didn't want to be around people that were just constantly like, how are you doing? How's it going? What's happening? Okay, that's really nice, but like I don't want to talk about
I actually think
talk about my divorce 24/7.
but you're very, very good at boundaries. I give you that. I am the exact opposite. I find
I'm
that
well
very
aware you are.
yeah. I find that very admirable because I'm the exact far from opposite.
But I
when
don't
it
think
comes-
you do it to be like, oh, let me tell you everything that's going on in my life. I think you just genuinely like to. This is how you connect with people.
For sure.
But let me say something. That niceness in your personality, and that like giving. It's like a giving. The generosity.
Yes.
You get it back tenfold, Lola.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah,
that's by
Smalla,
God's
like
grace.
really, I
Alhamdulillah,
really
by
mean
Allah's
it.
grace.
Like
Thank you.
if in general, whatever your output is in life is what your
But I
input
feel like
is
we're
gonna
all
get.
like that in
Inshallah.
that regard.
And
We
so
are.
and so like whatever if you want love, you have to give love. If you want kindness, you have to give. If you want abundance, you have to be an abundant person where you
live.
give and give, you know?
have to live in abundance. Don't look at the price tag. Just
It's
get
not
it.
even about spending. It's not even
we gotta
we're
be
not talking
responsible.
we're not talking about
We need to be
that
responsible.
the monetary
Responsibility.
but you mean with your time, with your love, sometimes with
also-
your generosity,
But
with the
also
wisdom
you
you
have to
share.
protect your energy at
Of
the
course,
same time.
of course,
like,
of
like
course.
we were talking about, like
Yeah.
I can't every day.
No, you can't.
You can't every day. If you have a loss in your life, every day do you want to talk about the
No,
loss?
You
Yeah,
can't
khalas,
because
enough
you're
is
going to
enough.
keep perpetuating that.
Yeah.
You're going to keep
Is that
telling the
my
story.
entire identity?
100%.
Is
And
that
so,
all you know me as?
I think in the snippets that we had talked about last time in the episode that never was, what we were trying to say is that you keep telling you cannot step into a new identity by
the
continuously
same
saying the same story.
on loop.
Just even if you're not convinced that you weren't a victim in that story, stop saying the story. Quite literally, your subconscious is listening.
Yeah, you're right.
Just stop talking about
That's
it.
why
10 years,
That's
you're
why-
still repeating
The same story,
Every
the same
person,
story.
The first thing that pops into your mind is the
This,
same
I am
story.
this. I am this kind of survivor. I am this. I am this. And your subconscious mind is listening, and you can't move past it. Acknowledge the past. Honor the past. Honor all the struggles that have got you to where you are. But if you want to go into something new, you have to tell a new story about yourself to yourself.
I'm tired of the story.
Well,
Right.
I also I really just want to this is a matter of separating trauma from identity, and it's a
Oh,
whole nother
yeah.
nother conversation. But I think this is what our community, society, right now struggles with.
Yeah, I am my trauma.
Yeah, we are our traumas.
Yeah, we are
and I
our
don't
traumas, yeah.
and I think I think this is very dangerous.
Yeah,
I think we
exactly.
have to learn how to tell our stories separate from our trauma,
At an
or tell the
appropriate
story.
time.
Like just knowing how to separate our identities from our traumas We are not our traumas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like
it's-
you have to wear your struggle like it's a badge of honor
Yes.
constantly.
Yeah.
But you can get away with it. You can get away from it, I'm saying.
Well,
Is do something new because you're not beholden to your past.
Yes.
No, but
That's
the
not
whole-
fair.
That was the whole part of her asking us these
Yeah.
questions. Like, despite all of these struggles,
Look what
here
you've
we are.
overcome.
Absolutely.
You thrived.
Here we are.
And look at who we are.
We
Absolutely.
thrived.
Yeah.
And what's the
anybody
common
else
yeah.
can thrive.
Yes. And-
Anybody and
I don't
everybody
have a
can
book
thrive.
on how to do this.
Yeah, and
This
what's
is
the
a
co-
life experience?
Yes, and what's the common denominator in all of these? It's number one, from within, that you have a shift in perspective that allows the outpouring of
Like love and support.
love and support, and stepping in the resolve to step into
And that
something new.
insight, and that
Insight and self-awareness. It really comes down to self-development.
And then I also think, as cliche as it sounds, love. To just
Yes.
love yourself,
Yes.
to love people around you, but love yourself more.
That
And
takes
put
work.
yourself
That
and put
takes a lot of
yourself
work.
first.
It's a lot of work.
That takes
Love
work.
And you
It's
can't do it
just-
alone though.
No, you
This
can't.
is where
No,
this is
yeah.
where the collective
Yeah,
empowerment.
yeah,
This is where that collective empowerment from fellow man comes into place. You can't love yourself alone though.
Because you sometimes people don't even know that they don't love
Wait,
themselves.
Noel, what do you mean? I understand what you mean when you say you can't do this alone, but what do you mean when this comes from fellow man? This is when they have to play a role.
It's there's this very modern paradigm of personal growth and self-development as an individual journey. And I think that is true, but I think it's
some level, maybe?
on some level, but I think it's not the only factor in the formula of self-development and personal growth. And I think what we do in society right now is that we forget that there's a collective that we need to tap into, collective of resources, a collective of love, a collective of ideas, a collective of support that helps us on our personal journey that we cannot lose sight of because it's imperative, because we are humans and God created us together, and God created us not as one but in pairs. And that he created us together, and we are naturally, inherently social beings. We can't do it alone. You have to be willing to open up. You have to be willing to talk to people, and you have to be willing to accept and receive from others in order to grow personally.
I agree. Right. I just wanted you to emphasize on that. That's awesome.
Definitely.
Okay, good. All right. So, what's your biggest disappointment in life? And I refuse to use the word what's your biggest regret because I don't believe in regrets.
Yeah.
My biggest disappointment. My God, no pressure. I don't know.
Wow, you're that proud of yourself. That's good. You're pretty confident.
No, I think no, not even that. I think my biggest disappointment. I don't know if I would call it like a disappointment. I think why me? Why am I? always
Okay,
the
well, I
first
can
to
go
answer?
because my answer's
go,
on the tip
Noah.
of my tongue and I'm laughing.
Go ahead.
I don't know I don't know. There's.
Go
a
ahead.
lot
I'm
of
going to
things.
say it.
There's
I
a lot
wasn't a
we
professional volleyball star.
Well, okay. It is that important to her, no, huh?
I honor.
I honor and support you.
My biggest disappointment is that I did not
We
fulfill
will-
my volleyball dreams.
we will
and go to the
s-
Olympics,
we
as
will-
my husband says.
we will
not-
s-
it's just an Olympic star.
We will seriously reschedule any podcast
For her
and I will
volleyball
come
schedule.
watch you.
I'll
really
come
mean
too.
it. It was
League
a question.
championship. I want all of my
I have a
sisters,
question.
and I want the
It was
Hajj
a
crew in the
genuine and
bleachers.
I want to know
Sincere
something. What do
question.
hajjabin wear when they play volleyball?
leggings,
Okay.
and a long shirt that covers my butt.
Okay.
And then a jersey scarf that gets tucked into
Alhamdulillah.
the Gildan
So
long
You
sleeve
see, we're not
t-shirt,
oppressed overall, or after all.
and long socks over the leggings to my knees.
15, what's your biggest disappointment?
I honestly. Do you have a biggest disappointment
You
yet?
know what? I don't think that I think I
A
missed
food
my
influencer.
calling. I think I missed my calling.
Absolutely.
For sure.
You've
I think
never
I
missed
should have
it.
been an influencer on
You
some level.
never missed it.
photographer.
I know.
First of
many
all, I'll
things,
tell you
guys.
something.
I'm so
Photographer,
talented. I'm so
social
embarrassed by all my
media
talents.
guru, influencer,
let me say, Dr.
creative.
Director,
Is
reel
that,
maker.
yeah, is that a disappointment? Or is that like, oh, if I
haven't
would have,
achieved. I haven't achieved it.
yeah, like,
I don't
or
think that
yeah,
there's
I
a-
was gonna say, is that a disappointment, or is that like,
No.
if I could have been anything else
I
in the
could've,
world,
yeah.
like if I didn't
Maybe,
do
yeah.
this, then I would have
would've
done that.
done
But
this.
is it really
Shift
a
in perspective and language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Perhaps
What's
so
yours,
not-
Lola?
I don't really have any.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't really have any. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
No, alhamdulillah, of course. But I don't know. I think I saw myself in a lot of different roles that I haven't yet pursued.
Yeah.
I think
But
that's-
Roba, you're still so young.
Yeah.
You're
never
don't
too
say your
late.
calling has passed. For example, I just want you guys to know. You know, when I go out of town, I'll text Roba and I'll say, Roba, like, give me this.
Yeah, I'm her personal zagat.
Yeah.
Give me a
No,
restaurant.
you're really
to go
good.
to.
I'm gonna
You're
give you
very
that.
so good, yeah.
And I do too. I always
Travel
message her, hey,
agent.
Lola,
I
where
don't
can I
know.
go for the? I list the
And
criteria.
I just
but
want the world
she-
to know that she's so weird and secretive about what restaurant
I'm
she
honored.
goes to.
Thank you.
No,
I'm
it's
honored
weird.
that you
It's
share the
weird.
ma'lumat with
But
me.
Roba, it's really weird that you're like that. You could have been a major foodie, blogger, influencer if you weren't so weird and secretive about where you go. But don't
this
worry,
could be true.
any place that Roba tells me to go to that's great, I'll make sure to share it with all of you.
No.
She I mean, you know the randomest, like,
I know the trivia stuff that I can.
Trivia,
Where
like-
can I monetize this at? Where?
On social media, you can easily monetize.
It's
that.
never
Like,
too late.
I would love to be a
YouTube?
spa. Okay, so I consider
LinkedIn?
myself. Actually, I just realized my biggest disappointment
What?
is not becoming a spa enthusiast.
You could have been.
I really could have been.
yeah, those hot and
love
ice cold,
spas.
those
Going-
ice baths right now are
Dude,
huge.
she spent 3 hours one time in New York at a spot, and I was like, Lola, like, what the heck? Like, I don't want to be here for 3 hours. I get so agitated.
But you
I
have to
cannot sit
understand
still for that
because my
long.
life is so hectic.
Hectic.
and
Oh,
so
dear God.
Fast. I mean, you know nothing about that. You're still sleeping when I'm at the gym.
You're right. I
So-
am. I'm snoozing at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I'm ordering lunch while all three of you are still sleeping.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm in
Get it?
dreamland.
Wallah.
Yeah.
Just tell her.
I wouldn't be mad though.
You're
I
right.
get it.
You know
Wallah,
what? It's
I
so
wish.
nice to sleep in.
Yeah, I
never.
wish.
Who cares?
So my biggest disappointment is not becoming a spa enthusiast. Yours is not becoming a food influencer, some sort of social media influencer. Yours is not becoming a
She wanna be
professional
an
volleyball player.
Olympic player.
And Hajja NFB is.
I really don't have one.
Whoa!
Oh, come on. Just say it. It's not disappointment. We'll use a different language. Come on.
I don't know if I'm disappointed.
What
Not
do you
disappointed.
envision yourself to have done if that you
Career-wise?
missed out on? That you
No,
that maybe
career-
you missed
I
out
mean,
on.
wallah,
Dancing
let
on
me
the
think
Brooklyn Bridge? Oh, no, wait, you did that.
I don't know.
No, wallah. Let me,
I know.
Tell me.
The production with you and Ale. Remember that video that you guys did? You guys were like one of the first people
No, we did
to
it,
have
but
that
it-
video
yeah,
go
so
viral.
We did it, but it was fulfilling.
Ali
Yeah,
FB.
But did you
It's
wanna
so
do
funny.
more?
But did you want to do maybe like
No.
something in arts?
I'm not saying that I don't see myself like I joke all the time and say that if I wasn't this, then I would have
I'd
been
be
like,
this.
yeah, I would be
A
this.
singer?
You could have been a singer.
Fairoz?
Can you hit a note,
No, I can't.
please?
I'm too behaved for,
the
that.
people.
I'm too well behaved
For the people.
But it's not that because disappointment is a different word. Do I imagine myself in other alternatives like, oh, I would have become this career? Like I joke all the time and say I would have been Kalthum. You know what I mean? It's not a real. It's not to be Kalthum. I mean, we can't. You know?
Can you please
But-
hit a note for us?
No. But the thing about it is like, no, you have disappointments in life. Things disappoint you. Let me just say that. Things disappoint you. You know? And they do. They,
than the sea.
I know. Don't talk to me about the ocean's depth because it's incredible.
Have you seen coral reefs recently?
But I just want to say that there are things in life that disappoint you, and there are many things that in life that disappoint you.
what?
A lot of things.
Humans,
Like what?
for
Yeah. And I was gonna say lots of disappointments come from other people, but you know what? The best thing of all is when you let everybody off the hook. You let everybody off the hook, and you say that your happiness comes
Yeah,
from
for
within,
sure.
and you find
And-
contentment from where
And you know what that means?
You
That
are.
You're very forgiving.
inshallah.
And forgiving is one of the
Yeah,
most
that
beautiful
people
traits.
are
Hardest thing.
of course.
We have a trivia question. What artist said it's all about them angles?
I don't know, Drake.
Come on. Yeah!
I was like, I'm not even
Drake.
gonna
I think
try.
it had to be Drake.
I'm not gonna try that one.
It is, but it is.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
it's all
LL Cool
about-
J.
No. Oh my god. He's like, it's
And
all
I
about the
dated
angles.
myself.
Nice
Yeah.
for what? You're
Nice,
scoring
you
a
know
song.
that.
You still don't know that song?
I don't know how to talk to you, and I don't know how to.
I hope you got that.
That was good. I got that. I understood it. And that's
I don't know how to talk to you.
I don't know how to answer you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you guys enjoyed our episode. See you soon.